baby.
Listen, I want to know because I see your beautiful daughter in your videos with you, and she is just all the way tapped in. How do you, set the environment for her in such a way to where she is just, seamlessly soaking up the knowledge, directly from you?
Well, I incorporate her. I remember when we moved to North Carolina, we moved from Georgia to North Carolina, and we were waiting on this apartment. And for some reason, the people decided to extend their time there. And I was like, man, listen, we need to go to a park and do a ritual. So I got her, Hathor, my son Amun Ra, my other baby son Heru, and we formed a circle around this tree. And I just brought a stick incense and a little glass of water. And I poured the water on the ground, and I'm like, listen, we need this apartment. So, we formed around the circle, did our little shamalama ding dongs, and, and I think it was like a week later, they called us, told us to come in. So I incorporate them. They've always been incorporated. First of all, the last 3 children I named after gods. Yep. There's Amun Ra, there's Hathor, and there's Heru. And so I'm like, this is the energy that you are walking with. Because I was going to name her Sekhmet, and the ancestors were like, no! Okay. And she does have the Sekhmetian side to her. So, they would like give her something calmer, Hathor, And so they grew up basically, seeing me. Now, my oldest son, Amun Ra, he's like, Mom, I don't want to get too deep with it because I'll be straight malevolent with it. And I understand that because he is a Shu's son, but Hathor, she was born that way. I remember her at 3 years old. And I was living in a house in Georgia, and I had some real racist ass neighbors beside me, and before I got rid of them off the street, one day she went outside. She was just 3 years old, and she started picking up like just bushes, grass and stuff, and rubbing them together. And she was just so intent. And then she went all the way around my minivan, rubbing it, putting it in a circle. And I said, what are you doing? And she said, I'm putting a circle of protection around our car.
Nice.
And I was like, wow. And it was just always that energy that I always saw in her. And all my daughters have the gift, and my sons, but it's just the wildest thing from since she was a baby. I remember taking her to an Ifa priest when I was, a part of the whole Ifa community, and she was like a year and a half old, and she was crawling over to something and picking up some stuff, and he was like, wow, look at that little Oshun. She's always been tapped in. She just came here tapped in. She was ready.
Nice. That's really beautiful. And yeah, you're setting them up for success with names. The symbols of the names is so powerful. Man, our daughter, both of our kids, have powerful names, and they mean something. And because God forbid we transition or whatever, right? They'll have something to look at or decode or context clue this thing out. Kind of the same thing that happened with me. My dad transitioned, but my mom was still Christian. My mom's from St. Thomas, but as a kid, as a child, I always seen pictures of Marcus Garvey and Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X on my wall. So all of a sudden, I'm looking around all the time, looking at these Black Muslims and stuff like that. Yeah. And then, but my mom is saying, well, we go to this white Jesus church now. So, and I'm thinking like, wait a minute, there's something missing here. There's something that's not adding up. So then when I talked to my grandma, and then she finally told me, yeah, your dad was not going with that. So my names, you know, I have 2 Muslim names, my real names. And I was like, oh, I was always intrigued by that and the power of names and how it kind of propelled me into this spiritual plight right now. So yeah, it's powerful thing you did with them. Huge.
Very powerful.